All right, guys, welcome to another Save Our Sites showcase, one of our sponsors. How's it going, guys? First of all, happy or sad about the Super Bowl outcome?
Chiefs fan?
I mean, I grew up in Oklahoma, so the Chiefs were like, it was either Dallas or Kansas City, and I couldn't root
Mm,
for the Cowboys. So, I
I'm
just
all
grew up a Chiefs
Eagles.
fan.
I have to say we're all really big Eagles fans, so
Yeah.
we woke up in good spirits this morning. But it's tough, in any given Sunday.
Yeah, for exactly.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, I want to, thank you for coming on, Liz. I know not the first time you've been on, and happy to see you back. If you would, just tell us a bit about yourself and a little bit about Inato.
Great. So, hi everyone. I'm Liz Beatty. I'm co-founder, chief strategy officer of Inato. My background's been clinical trials my whole career. I started my career as a study coordinator in an MS clinic, directly working with patients, and loved that work completely. Then transitioned into pharma, where I led different roles and different protocols and different disease areas. Got to get some of our clinical trials, drugs that we were studying actually to market, which was really an exciting part of my career. And now, for the last 5+ years, I've been building innovative technologies to help both sites and sponsors. So, bringing that experience together for Inato to see how can we use tech to really improve the ecosystem and make clinical trials better and easier for people. So, a little bit about Inato. We have a platform that on one end is available for sites, completely free for sites, built with sites to address some of the major challenges they have, like getting access to the right trials for them and their patients, and helping them be more efficient and effective and actually identifying those patients now with some of our new tech. And then on the sponsor side, we help sponsors get access to a wider range of sites. So instead of always just going to the major academic center or the sites that have the most experience, how do you diversify your sites so that you can get a wide range of capabilities, sites that have less competition, sites that have good access to patients, maybe sites that are faster to open. There's all different reasons to go with a variety of sites in your program to meet your strategic needs. So we work with our sponsor collaborators on that side of the business.
Yeah, I love that. And I mean, what is the value? And I mean, I know the answer, but tell us about the value of Inato for sites. I mean, obviously, something all sites need and are looking for are new study opportunities, right? Especially if you're a smaller site, maybe you can't necessarily afford a huge BD team to always be out there, looking for all the sort of one-off study opportunities that come along. Um, let's just stop there. I mean, how does Inato help sites, identify new study opportunities?
Yeah, so what we heard from sites is it's to find new study opportunities, but also get a steady flow of trials. So when one's closing, do you have another one available? Because it's hard to stay in the business of clinical trials, and you need a steady flow of trials to keep your team in place and keep your activity up at your center. So is there a way for us to do this differently than the one by one feasibility surveys that were historically the way of doing this? So through Inato now, a site can come and set their preferences, tell us what types of trials they're looking to get access to for their patients, and then we'll send you those trials as they become available, and you can make choices. Maybe there are multiple COPD trials that are available, and you can pick the one that's best for you and your patients, and really be discerning instead of just getting the one that comes your way through feasibility. So we're trying to really flip the model for sites, have them have access to a wider range of trials so they can choose the one they're best fit for instead of just getting stuck with that trial that, gosh, I wish I never took. It wasn't the right fit. And now I'm struggling along the way to see, can I contribute?
Yeah, I think I mean, I was having that conversation today. It does feel sometimes very backwards for sites who are being approached for potential study opportunities. So I love the way it does kind of, flip the script a little bit. And, I think sites are so often used to sort of filling out the same feasibility questionnaires time and time again. That's something else Onato addresses. You sort of get your own, it's like a site profile, right? Where you really get to build out, the capabilities of your site and sort of showcase uh, you know, what makes your site unique or good for sponsors, whether that be particular therapeutic area or indication that you might be specialized in, or potentially the diversity of the community in which you're serving. So What other kind of stuff? What else can Inato sort of help your site display?
Yeah, so whatever differentiates you, we always say, let us know. So sites often have a great way of describing their capabilities, what's interesting about them, where they are in the world and the patients that they serve. We're very global in the outreach we have to sites. So all of those nuances become a really important part about how you set up your experience on an auto. And then from there, we've spent a lot of time with sites over the last year understanding how do we make this really easy? How do you leverage what's already known about you in a way that you can repurpose it and not have to answer those questions over and over again? So we've actually reduced a lot of the effort that it takes a site to apply to a trial. They get to reuse information and use their experience on an auto to then get more and more trials as they go down the line. So it's been very streamlined because we spend a lot of time listening to sites and understanding what are your needs, how do we make the tech better. So I always say as we come out of conferences, and we'll be at Save Our Site soon, the most interesting thing for me is hearing from sites who say, I came on an auto, I didn't find a trial right away, what do I do? And I'm always reminding folks that the more you come on and tell us what you like and don't like about a trial, the better your preferences get, and we can be very customized then to getting those right trial opportunities in front of you. It's a little bit like Netflix. The more you thumbs up or thumbs down things, your feed becomes better. It's the same tech that we're using on an auto. So use the technology, let us know this is not a fit for me, or even I need to pause trial opportunities right now because I need to hire new staff. That's all great feedback. And really, we can customize then our outreach to you to be most effective.
Nice. I guess in conjunction to that, it was a great question, Brad. Aside from trials, right? I think it just as similarly, we also need to ensure that, there's a better, easier way to be able to get, patients, right, to come in and be able to, do pre-screening and all those kinds of things. And I'm aware that you guys are currently working or unveiling, new AI capabilities. Can you, talk more about this?
Happy to, Ashley. So we're really excited about this. This actually came from sites asking us, it was so great getting a trial through you. Could you help me then be successful on this trial? And a major pain point is chart review. So even if you have an electronic medical record that you're using and have access to it, all of the details you need to determine whether or not a patient is a good fit for a trial tends not to be readily available or easily searched in the electronic medical records. So in the last 18 months, we've seen an unbelievable move in the technology advancements with AI and generative AI. And what we did is we sat down to build something that would be really unique for sites. So with sites, we built a series of AI agents that don't require any HR integration, don't require a tech team to write a query against. Made it really a light lift for sites to be able to take whatever patient records they have, put it in Inato's new pre-screening tool, and have the AI agents first anonymize the patient. So any identifiable information, the AI agent cleans so that there's no worry from a privacy perspective. And then what's so unique about how advanced the tech has gotten is the agents can then go through inclusion criteria by inclusion criteria to say, is the patient eligible or not against that criteria? Why do I think it is? So what's the rationale for my determination of eligibility? And then where in the source record can I provide a reference point? So we can really get detailed now with each criteria for each patient in minutes. And what we're hearing from sites, it's saving hours of time of doing chart reviews by using this type of technology. But we're enabling sites to use the tech to help them make the decision of eligibility, not taking it away, because we're just giving them all the information at their fingertips for each criteria. So it's been a really great thing to build with sites. I'll share it's not just for Inato studies. Sites can use this technology for any studies they have on site. They can even configure other trials themselves within the tech so that they can screen all their patients as quickly as possible and put them in the right trial opportunities.
I mean, that's really cool. I was going to ask, if you're able to bring studies outside an auto sort of in there. So can I drill down a little bit? Because I've played around in the space a little bit, but more so with tools that sort of plug into any existing EMR. This sounds like the opposite. Is that true? Like you bring the chart or bring the files over to Inato instead?
Yes. So we're really focused on value. So how do we get to the quickest value possible for sites? We know how busy everyone is. So what we did was we said, okay, what's the quickest way to value? And that's without EHR integration. To do that type of integration works takes commitment, it takes effort with the site. So we said, let's not make that the first hurdle. So you go in, it's very light. You control which patients you upload. You can take a PDF file. It can be an extract from your EMR. It could be lab reports. It could be handwritten notes. The AI can read all of it. So you can just compile a chart like you would if you wanted to do this manually, upload it into the system, and it will go through each patient, each criteria for each trial you have on your center. So it's great. We've been able to get so much direct feedback from sites using it to date. Our next advancements are thinking, how do you triage patients? How do you keep track of patients that might progress or not be ready today? But there's a lot of work that can be done in this space now that doesn't require an EHR integration. Now, with that said, Brad, if you do want more help, we can sign a BAA agreement, so a business associates agreement. We can help pull some of the data for you. And for some sites that have been using the tech now for some time, as our early users, they've actually asked, could we do an EHR integration? So yes, we could down the line. So we're trying to make the value up front really clear, really light to get into. So it only takes you maybe a week to get started. And then from there, you can get deeper and deeper with us as you use the tool more.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I do think oftentimes maybe vendors sort of underestimate how challenging it can be to get that connection made, and it may depend on your model as a site. We work with a large health system, which, right off the bat creates an issue because they've got all kinds of, bureaucracy and security. They don't want, any external tools plugging in. But then even some of the smaller independent clinics we work with, like, they don't have a lot of infrastructure to help make that happen. There may be just, again, maybe trust issues with letting, people run wild, in their EMR, so to speak. So yeah, that can take weeks. It can take months. It can take, I mean, again, in a big system, it could take you a year plus maybe to get that sort of integration going. So yeah, I think that's awesome. And I don't know that I've really seen that much out on the market. So
Definitely
uh,
haven't heard that. Not yet.
yeah. So I mean, I love that you're sort of bringing it, the other way around, making it, really easy for sites.
And it continues to be free for sites.
I was about to say, I
Wow.
assume it must be really expensive, right?
Wow, that's free. Okay. Well, can see which Inato is going to be very popular at SOS, I'm sure.
Well, I
Especially
like it. At the booth, it's our most common question, like, why are you free? I don't understand. We actually think helping sites be more successful in this space improves clinical trials for the whole ecosystem. So it's part of our mission to improve access to patients through the doctors and care teams that have trusted relationships. That's the sites. So instead of trying to sell stuff to sites and worrying about adoption for taking on new tech, we're actually trying to build tech for sites that makes their lives better. So to me, it's very aligned with our mission. I actually think it becomes an adoption issue for us anyhow, because sites almost can't believe it. Like, why would you do this? So I always want to remind people we're on the mission to make access to trials easier for patients through sites. And that's why our tech is free for sites as we go forward.
Yeah, no, I love that. And I mean, obviously, I think it's still, I think again, something vendors sometimes don't recognize, but like, look, if sites are having a great experience using an auto, um, and we're enrolling the hell out of our trials because of the help of an auto, I mean, sponsors are going to want to work with you guys too, and also bring more sites to the table. So it becomes the whole thing is very circular. So it makes a ton of sense. And, you know, again, at the end of the day, most sites, especially smaller sites, don't have the time or the money. I didn't even talk about, the money part that also goes into some of these that still may not necessarily produce great results for you, depending on, the situation. So just the ability to have something where you're not worried about how much is coming out of your pocket every month when you may or may not have a ton of studies going on at a particular site, huge advantage. I love it.
Yeah. And thinking about on the sponsors end too, same, I guess, a CRO as well, but definitely on the sponsor end where you're thinking about, I mean, I personally love the fact that the AI catches not only the confirmation if they're eligible or not, but they go straight to the specific, document, they, verb specifically from that space, that area, confirming that and giving a reasoning why. That in itself, I mean, when you're thinking about, having to speak with some of the medical director or anything like that in regards to those things, it makes it quicker, much more simplistic. It saves time, and ultimately too, I think on the process of when it comes to just bringing in more patients, there's you get to I guess remove or portion of that removal of person error, right? When you're dealing with like a coordinator that's new or that's semi new and has been trained, that's still not necessarily 100% clear. It just removes so much, and I really like that. So, for those that are watching or they'll be watching later, I mean, really, it's free. It only makes sense to definitely give it a shot. If you don't mind, Liz, for those, because I know that in our first SOS we had not just current sites or new sites, but individuals that were looking to start up sites, right? And so I do suspect that we will be having more people like that at this second conference around. Do you mind just kind of going real quick to a step by step of what they can expect, how it would be to onboard Inato if they were to be considering it for the first time?
Yeah, so we remain very simple for sites to get started. This goes back to the time to value metric that we like to have for sites. So to get started on Inato, you can come to our website, you can join. Like I said, it's free, but it's also low friction, meaning we don't ask you a lot of questions. So we need to know what types of research you want to be involved in, who the primary contact is, so we can start engaging with you. But from then, it's really up to presenting you with the right trial opportunities and the right tech to help support you going forward. So we don't ask for reams of information up front. It won't take you hours and hours to join. And we'll only really ask you for information in the context of a real trial opportunity. What's great about that is it's an area of interest for sites, right? That's the value we deliver early on, is those trial opportunities. So as you enter information, we then collect that, store that back in your profile, as Brad mentioned, and then we can reuse it. So we're really trying to make it a very low amount of time to join and get started, and then it gets better and better as you use the technology over time. So we've done a lot of work with our algorithm to match trials to sites, and there are requirements that our sponsors give us. So this is another piece I always get questions around. So to your point about newer sites or even naive to research sites, for each of the trials we post on Inato, they're real trial opportunities. They're not pulled from clinicaltrials.gov. They're an actual opportunity. We have a relationship with that sponsor. And we ask that sponsor, what are your key requirements for a site to be able to join this trial? And there are some very difficult trials and then some easier trials. So depending on your experience level, you may not be able to get the most difficult trials because the sponsor requirements will be much higher. Maybe you need more years of experience or more trials in that area. So this is where we're always trying to remind sites that the sponsor requirements are sort of the bar that the sponsor sets for who they'll accept for that particular trial based on complexity. And there's some really difficult trials out there. And then there are, easier trials to get started on. So just be aware that you may not get all of the trials based on your experience level, but we'll do our best to get those right matches to you as quickly as possible.
And I'm curious. I know that I believe Brad has experience, but I don't have much experience with Inato. I'm more on the CRO sponsor end. But whenever a site, for example, like you said, very little questions are being asked, are you able to kind of gauge whether those sites are meeting those requirements, and you give them kind of like a list of what falls under them, or it's just kind of a general list that is available on the platform to view?
So we're fully transparent.
Mhm.
If you're a site in a certain country, you can come see all trials in that country. So this is where we're very transparent. It doesn't mean you'll hit the requirements for all of them. So actually what we do is when you go to apply for a trial, we'll tell you as you're doing your application, this particular trial requires this, so that it's built into your experience and you can see right away where you may or may not meet the requirements for the study. We often get asked, how are you coming up with these requirements? And this is why I like to stress, it's really on the sponsor side. It's their bar for who they'll work with for that particular trial. But we do a lot of education with our sponsors about thinking broadly, relaxing some requirements where they can to make sure they get the widest range of sites and diversity of sites in their study as possible.
Yeah, I think I'm. This goes back to a conversation I was having today with someone, but the fact that you're only asking what's required at that time. Generally, if you get a feasibility document, you got to fill out all. You're filling out the whole damn thing, regardless, and you don't know which one of those questions might kick you out along the way, and you're doing it every time. This week, I had a sponsor come in who's been here 3 times in the last year for a study in the same indication and asked the same questions. Now, I know that's a whole different story, but something we see kind of across the breadth of a clinical trial site. But the fact that, up front, you're kind of known like, hey, if you don't have this piece of equipment, you don't have this level of experience, you don't have this, whatever, dealt with this scale before, you don't have to waste your time going further. I mean, I did a site selection visit where, they decided not to pick a PI because they didn't have a particular kind of experience. Like but that was in the feasibility. Why did you even come here? So again, as a site, you're not wasting time. And then to your point, like, again, what I like is once you fill something out, like that'll carry over. So how many times do you need to know I have a centrifuge, right? I mean, it's fine. I know you need to know, but I don't need to fill it out 25 times. Like it's going to stay with my sort of site profile. I think these are the things that, they drive us crazy. They seem small, but you start adding them up and, it takes up a lot of time as a site. So I love that you guys are making it like the lowest barrier of entry that you want, I guess, or you get to at least stop before you've invested a ton of time, a site visit, pulling the PI's time, only to be told like, oh, no, there was this requirement we didn't tell you about to begin with. So again, kudos for that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misalignment, to be transparent, in the industry. So it starts with feasibility and expectations, and then it goes to budget negotiations, and then it goes to enrollment performance. So can we bring those things up earlier, create the right alignment so everyone can be successful? We think yes, we think that's possible, and technology is a good avenue to do that.
Yeah, agree. Again, something that has been a long-standing problem. Still a problem unless you're in Inato.
For sure. I really appreciate that, Liz. Honestly, as you mentioned, we haven't really heard of any particular vendor at the moment, doing that particular AI capabilities. I'm really excited to see how that moves forward. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of sites start to incorporate, take advantage and incorporate that, because that's where the whole just in general, AI it's coming and everybody has to adapt. And I think you guys are really taking the step forward and moving that through in clinical research. And so I personally would actually like to see y'all's platform. Will y'all be having kind of like a demo there at the booth at SOS?
Yes, we do. We usually have a sort of a demo live stream sort of view where it goes through the tech and our team can talk you through it. We have a great team coming to the SOS conference this year. It's a mix of different team members, so product, marketing, and even our site partnership management team. So it gives us a great chance to really engage with the sites at the conference, talk about the technology, show them, which we're really, really excited about. And this just launched. January 28th was our official launch date.
Wow.
I'll share, though, our beta testers, so the sites that helped us actually build this and give us feedback. We're so engaged that we, before the launch, had hit our 1,000 patient record reviewed through our technology. So it was really exciting to see. Sites are engaged. They really want this type of support. They're uploading the records for their patients and really having the technology take a ton of time out of their days for them, and instead of trying to add hours of chart review, they can just upload the charts and go about their patient visits and come back and see all of the AI recommendations for them all organized and ready to go.
Congratulations. Really excited that you guys will be, showcasing that at SOS. I'm sure it's going to be a huge hit. And that was actually my second question, if you're taking a team with you. So assuming you're going to have some at the booth as well as kind of networking on the floor, correct?
Yes, so I was told we are booth number 14, that we're really excited for people to come and talk to us. And Jacqueline, Elaine, and Alexa will be there on site. So come and talk with us. We want to hear from you. As I said, we build a lot of our technology with sites. We're happy to share what's the feedback we heard and how are we making more enhancements as we go forward. Because having those discussions and that dialogue, I think really shapes the technology.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I love it. I actually added a team member to the portal today to start taking a look at some of the AI stuff because, I saw your announcement maybe last week, and I was at were you at Scope, Liz?
I was at Scope.
I don't know if I saw you there, but there's a lot of people at that conference. Can make it difficult, but yeah, I got somebody on the portal so we can start taking a look at that AI pre-screening because that's really exciting, especially that there's not, again, some sort of months-long process with a bunch of sort of tech talk in the background that maybe sites aren't that familiar with. Sounds like a very simple system. Anything else as we sort of wrap up here, or anything else on your roadmap you guys want to share, or just any sentiment in general?
Well,
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to add to the Scope conversation. I had so many sites come up to us at Scope and say, I've been using Inato and it helped me get trials, but now this AI piece is so interesting. This could help me across all of my trials. So I think that's the biggest shift in our messaging for sites is it's been great. We've had a lot of engagement around access to trials. Now let us help you make sure you don't miss any of your patients that could be a good fit for one of the trials that you're already running. So it gives us a great way to continue to engage with sites and build out our value to the site community.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, I don't know that I've seen another tool out there that is so sort of site focused. So yeah, if you're a site and you're not using Inato, go sign up. It's free. You have nothing to lose. And again, you're going to see at least some study opportunities in a portal, at the very least. And then again, I'm excited to hear that you don't have to necessarily be using an auto matched trial in order to use your sort of AI pre-screening. So again, really nothing to lose as a site. Get on there. And you guys will be at SOS. It's March 13th through 15th here in Oklahoma City. Guys, if you don't have a room at the Omni yet, go to saveoursites.com, use the code. It's a beautiful hotel. We're looking forward to it. I love that we have a sort of more intimate vibe than some of the bigger shows. I think hopefully that leads to some more in-depth conversation with sites. I know sites.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I know sites want to talk. To companies like Inato, they want to be able to have those in-depth conversations. And again, I love you guys are taking so much feedback from the site community.
Awesome. Just wanted to piggyback. The discount code does end for the hotels on February 27th. So if you're wanting a discount, definitely get that done before then. And just the last thing, that we will be having a main stage session on AI, and as well as a kind of like a breakout session on AI as well, kind of how it helps process through the sites and overall communication through sponsors and CROs. So definitely, Brad, I don't know if you're going to be on that session or if it's Dan or Monica, but we need to make sure that whoever already has an understanding of Inato's AI, so that, if there's any, correlation to the topic, definitely want to potentially bring that up, because it'll obviously help sites. But awesome. Thank you, Liz. We appreciate it. We appreciate your time, appreciate your support for SOS, and very clear that you guys have same mission and vision as us. So thank you for the work that you're doing and all the help that you're creating for sites. And we look forward to seeing you guys at the conference.
Great. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.